From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Evening Edition.
Live from the CBS studios in San Francisco, I'm Brian Hackney.
And I'm Andrea Nakano. Another legal battle is brewing between California and the White House as 300 troops from the California National Guard are being sent to Portland. Oregon's governor says at least 100 troops arrived overnight.
This comes after a federal court temporarily blocked the administration from mobilizing 200 of Oregon's own National Guard troops on Saturday. Gavin Newsom called the order to send up California troops appalling and un-American, saying the state would file its own lawsuit to block the move. Moments ago, California Attorney General Rob Bonta confirmed that California will seek an emergency court order to block the redeployment, while also joining Oregon's existing lawsuit.
It's clear the first court order that came yesterday was not enough for Trump. We need to secure an additional court order to prevent the president from evading the court's earlier decision. It's our National Guard, California's National Guard, not Trump's Royal Guard, as he seems to think. Trump can't use our military troops as his own personal police force. He can't turn our cities into his military training ground.
Bonta says the temporary restraining order is to prevent the president from sending the remaining 200 troops. Andrea?
Well, now to the government shutdown. President Trump is threatening mass layoffs if the government isn't reopened soon. He says any firings of government employees will be because of Democrats' unwillingness to negotiate. This comes as a CBS News poll finds Americans are frustrated with the shutdown and worry about its impacts on the economy. CBS News' Chanel Call has more.
As the government shutdown enters its second week, President Trump remains adamant that Democrats are responsible for the shutdown and for the potential layoffs of government employees. The White House says firings will happen if the government is not reopened soon.
We're ready to go back. You know, we have a record-setting economy. We have a record-setting country. Prices are way down. We're doing better than the country's ever done. And the Democrats hate seeing that. It's up to them. Anybody laid off, that's because of the Democrats.
A new CBS News poll finds many Americans are frustrated with the shutdown, disapproving of the White House, Republicans in Congress, and Democrats in Congress nearly equally. The poll also finds that those surveyed are worried about the impact the shutdown could have on the economy, with 49% saying they're very concerned and 31% saying they are somewhat concerned. On Sunday's Face the Nation, congressional leaders from both sides of the aisle blame the opposing party for the shutdown, with Democratic leaders saying they're fighting for Americans' health care and Republicans saying the Democrats are being unreasonable.
We have a health care crisis in America caused by the Republicans. They've barreled us towards a shutdown because they don't want to deal with that crisis.
There's probably 400 different ideas on how to fix that, but we need a little time to do it. We're not saying that we won't negotiate it. We're saying turn the lights back on in Congress.
The next congressional vote on the shutdown is expected to take place on Monday. Chanel Call, CBS News.
Despite the government shutdown, the U.S. Navy celebrated their 250th anniversary today with a salute to the fleet at Naval Station Norfolk in Virginia. President Trump commended the sailors, saying that they are part of the best fighting force in the world.
We're gathered on this storied waterfront to celebrate 250 years of strength, tenacity, and unwavering courage by the greatest fighting force and that's true, no matter where you go, no matter what you even think about, there's nothing like the fighting force that we have.
The president announced Friday on Truth Social that the celebration would continue despite the shutdown, and at the event, he promised that all service members will be paid.
Well, San Francisco Fleet Week kicks off tomorrow. We're still not sure if a Blue Angels show is on or off. That all depends on resolution of the shutdown. But if we don't have the U.S. Navy, we do have the Canadians. The Royal Canadian Navy will be bringing their coastal defense vessel. It's used for law enforcement, search and rescue, pollution surveillance, even minesweeping. The vessel's stop in San Francisco is part of its final journey along the west coast of North America. From here, we'll head south to the Panama Canal, then up to Halifax, where she'll be based for the rest of her service life. Another act you can expect to see in the sky is the Acemaker T-33. Jessica Birch got a chance to ride with pilot Greg Collier back in 2022. Took off from the Oakland airport and flew over parts of the East Bay and wine country.
Well, former Vice President Kamala Harris is back in the Bay Area today. The Oakland native stopped by the Masonic Auditorium in San Francisco to promote her new book, 107 Days. She spoke at 2 back-to-back events, sharing insights and stories from her presidential campaign last year. The 15-city book tour kicked off in New York right after the book came out at the end of September. And here's Zoe with weather.
Well, it's been a great day to spend outdoors, to soak up some sunshine, and tomorrow is actually only going to get warmer as those winds begin to change direction. There's a little bit of fog that's developing just along our coastal communities, but most of us seeing blue skies and sunshine. I mean, just take a look outside. This is from the top of the Mark. It is gorgeous in downtown San Francisco, and this is the view in most of the Bay Area. Sunny skies. It's really lovely out there. Although there was a little finger of fog that was streaming through the Golden Gate earlier, that fog shouldn't be a huge issue overnight tonight, other than directly along the coast. We are expecting a lot more fog to head our way mid to late this upcoming week, as there are going to be some big changes on the way. So if you like the warmer weather, I hope you've gotten out and enjoyed yourself, because again, we are going to be seeing today and tomorrow, even into Tuesday, the warmest days of the next 7, as offshore winds will begin to develop. Little to no cloud coverage to worry about. Overall, lovely conditions if you like the warm weather. But starting Wednesday, continuing Thursday and into Friday, this large storm system will develop. It will usher in onshore winds, cooling down our temperatures, bringing in more cloud coverage. And look at the timing. Late Friday and into Saturday, there is the slight potential for a little bit of rain. So Fleet Week, that might be in potential jeopardy. I'll break down all the details that you need to know about the week forecast coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Zoe. Perfect weather to celebrate the Oakland Ballers. The team won the Pioneer Baseball League Championship, and the parade was held in downtown today. 2 A's fans founded the Ballers after the A's decided to leave Oakland. Da Lin has more on the celebration.
Let's go, Oakland! Let's go, Oakland!
It's a celebration of Oakland just as much as a celebration of the Ballers winning their first Pioneer League championship. The team parade around Raimondi Park, where they play their home games in West Oakland.
Amazing, amazing. Like, look at this, look at the community coming together, not only for a game, but just to be here to celebrate with us. It's awesome.
Catcher Tyler Lozano understands why this is such a big deal for Oakland. He grew up in Stockton, and just like Oakland, he says it's a gritty town that fights for everything. He adds, you don't have to be a baseball fan to appreciate what this championship means.
Everyone up here has talked about community, but someone that grew up in Stockton and coming here, I really see what Oakland's about. I really see why you guys build a community and love each other through everything. And being a part of that is super welcoming for myself. I know the team.
2 Oakland A's fans founded the Ballers 2 years ago. They jumped through hoops to put a team together, and few believed they could win it all so quickly. And truly, it was against all odds. In the best-of-5 championship series, the Ballers were down 2 games to none. They came back to win 3 straight and take the title.
Oakland's been counted out since before the beginning. We've always been an underdog, not just in sports, but in life and in community. But people from Oakland know something special about us. We're resilient. We always punch above our weight in terms of culture, in terms of music, in terms of art, and in terms of sports. And the thing about sports is it becomes part of your identity. It becomes part of your pride. And so we delivered a championship. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to remind everybody that this is a city of champions.
It's something the town can rally around, despite losing 3 professional teams and dealing with constant negative headlines.
I mean, it's a start. You know, it's something that we can all come together on and say, hey, we have earned something here. We have a championship.
And this title means a lot to the players, too, many of whom have spent their lives chasing a shot at the major leagues. Tyler's grandmother fought back tears, knowing the journey her 25-year-old grandson has been through.
Very proud. I couldn't be prouder. Yeah.
He's a tiger.
He's a good boy, and I'm glad he's made it to where he is today.
Tyler says this win is for everyone, himself, his teammates, Oakland, and the fans.
To be able to see my grandparents experience this with me is something that I could cherish forever.
So what's next for the Ballers? The founders say they're not sure yet because money is always a big challenge for these independent teams. Their plan is to come back stronger and better next year, and the hope is to even play a game at the Coliseum if it's possible.
That is Da Lin, and coming up, a flood of pink at the San Francisco Zoo. We'll tell you how it helps save lives when we come back.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and CBS News Bay Area is a proud partner of the Susan G. Komen More Than Pink Walk. Today at the San Francisco Zoo, volunteers, survivors, and supporters raise money for those living through metastatic breast cancer. Kelsey Thorud has the story.
To kick off Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the Susan G. Komen Foundation hosted a More Than Pink Walk at the San Francisco Zoo.
And so we have all of our top teams, all of our top fundraisers, and then all of our booths that represent our mission.
The event brought together families, doctors, and cancer survivors, all with the goal of raising $400,000 for cancer research.
We have an auntie Phyllis who recently passed away from breast cancer, and we would come here every year with her to support her in her journey. So it's definitely more important this year now that she's not with us. She's physically not here with us, but she's always here with us in our hearts and our mind.
According to the foundation, 1 in 8 women and 1 in 1,000 men will be affected by breast cancer in their lifetime. In California, close to 33,000 people will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and more than 4,500 people will die from the disease this year alone.
And unfortunately, I've also gotten very close to people who have died from this disease. And so I continue to just be very passionate about this work and know that the work continues and there's a lot of urgency.
Annual walks like this not only help raise money for the cause, but also give an opportunity to those impacted by the disease to connect with one another.
Komen does so many good things to bring you together in a community for the support, financially, emotionally. I mean, just meeting all the other survivors when you come to an event like this is really powerful.
The goal, of course, is to get to a point where people can live longer lives with better outcomes, raising funds across the country all month long and throughout the entire year, one step and $1 at a time.
I hope that a lot of good comes from this event. I hope that the funds get raised and the message gets spread, and yeah.
In San Francisco today, it is day 3 of Hardly Strictly Bluegrass, a free music fest in San Francisco. The string cheese incident is headlining tonight, and it's, despite the name, not easy to get a gig. We spoke with the man in charge of booking the talent.
You know, I do a lot of research throughout the year of who we want to have, and I get pitched a ton of acts. I mean, we literally, it feels like close to 1,000 ideas for the 80 slots we have, but we do it, and it's a labor of love.
Hardly Strictly Bluegrass, Hardly Strictly, is now in its 25th year, just like Zoe Min. Say, Zoe.
I am not in my, I wish I was still in my 25th year. Yeah, look at me, 25 over here. No, I wish I could have gone to Hardly Strictly Bluegrass. It's on my bucket list still, but I work weekends, so it makes it a little bit more difficult for me. But it was a beautiful day all across the Bay Area. Whether you went to Hardly Strictly Bluegrass or you just enjoyed the sunshine elsewhere, it was gorgeous. Temperatures a degree or two above what we felt yesterday. Right now, they're cooling down just a bit, but still sitting in the upper 70s to maybe even a few low 80s sprinkled in there across our inland East Bay communities. Our coastal communities, though, you're feeling a bit more of that chill. You're in the upper 50s right now from Point Reyes down to Pacifica, low 60s in Half Moon Bay. And compared to 24 hours ago, you're definitely feeling a few degrees cooler. The reason is because of the cloud coverage, the onshore winds that are still there. However, by overnight tonight and into tomorrow, we are expecting our offshore winds to develop. And the offshore winds actually might create a bit of an issue across the mountains of our North Bay communities. They're actually going to be pretty gusty on the highest elevations, places like Mount St. Helena, where we are going to be seeing those winds gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour. But low elevations like Sonoma, Napa, you might see a gust up to 10 miles an hour. So the gusts aren't going to be necessarily a huge issue at the ground, but they are again coming in from the offshore direction. And offshore winds, as many of you know, bring in drier and warmer conditions. And that's exactly what we're expecting through tomorrow. Maybe a little bit of cloud coverage along our coastal communities overnight tonight, but again, the offshore winds really going to be fighting against a lot of that cloud coverage that tries to develop. So overall, it is going to be a sunny and a warm day across the bay tomorrow. Those temperatures inland going to be even warmer than today, sitting in the upper 80s across our inland East Bay communities and down into the Santa Clara Valley. You get closer to the coast and it's still warm. Those temperatures even by the bay are going to be in the mid 80s, and then along the coast, mid to maybe even upper 70s. Pacifica forecast high of 77 degrees. That is some beautiful beach weather out there, and highs in the low 80s in downtown San Francisco. Those of us without air conditioning, that's going to be a hot one. You might want to escape to the beach, maybe get down to Monterey, Santa Cruz, where those highs are going to be in the mid 70s overall. It doesn't matter where you are. A beautiful day to head to the beach and cool off from those inland communities tomorrow. We are expecting cloud coverage to arrive overnight Monday and into early Tuesday as onshore winds begin to develop, especially down near Monterey, Salinas. That's where the majority of the fog and cloud coverage will develop. For the Bay Area, yes, a little bit will be filtering in for areas by the Golden Gate, but those temperatures along our coastal communities by Tuesday are going to be a few degrees cooler, while those inland areas stay very warm through Tuesday. But by Wednesday, everybody will begin to cool down as there is going to be a big pattern change on the way. In fact, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, those onshore winds will begin to pick up. Cloud coverage will develop a little bit more, especially closer to our coastal communities, about a 10 to 15 degree temperature drop from Tuesday and into Wednesday. And by the time that we step out next weekend, there is the very slight potential of a few raindrops in our forecast. That will be late Friday and into early Saturday, so keep that in mind for any Fleet Week plans. Again, closer to our coastal communities, it is going to be a bit cooler, a bit cloudier, but it looks like everything should dry out and warm right back up by Sunday. So again, perfect timing for Fleet Week. Back to you.
And welcome back. Israel and Hamas are still working out an agreement to stop the war.
Renewed negotiations are scheduled to begin tomorrow in Egypt. And while some are feeling a sense of hope and relief, others are skeptical that a deal will actually happen.
Deborah Patta is in East Jerusalem with the latest.
This is the closest Israel and Hamas have come to making a deal to end the war since it began nearly 2 years ago.
Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East, and we're very close to achieving that.
Following the qualified response from Hamas, the president told Israel to stop bombing Gaza immediately. The Israel Defense Forces announced it would temporarily halt its offensive, but not all the guns went silent. 20 people were killed and 30 injured, according to rescue workers, after a strike on a home in Gaza City. But still, there was overwhelming relief for most Palestinians that an end may be in sight. This was the first night we felt a little safer, said this man. We've endured death in so many different ways. We are exhausted. Hamas says it is ready to release all the remaining hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners and has agreed to surrender governing power in Gaza. But it wants further negotiations on some of the other terms of the proposed deal and made no mention of laying down arms, a key demand. For Israelis whose loved ones are still in Hamas captivity, there is hope, but trust is in short supply.
I'm really trying to be optimistic regarding the news, but over the past 729 days, we've seen so many times that Netanyahu and also the Hamas torpedo agreements.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke about the deal on Face the Nation this morning, saying the focus is on the hostages, with the rest of the details to be ironed out later.
I think the Israelis and everyone acknowledge you can't release hostages in the middle of strikes. So the strikes will have to stop. And as you saw the president state that very clearly on Friday, where he asked the Israelis to begin to pull back to create the conditions for these releases.
Tuesday marks 2 years since the war began.
In Chicago, tensions are growing between ICE agents and protesters, with new clashes at the local ICE facility, schools, and hospitals. Confrontations are getting more intense as demonstrators face tear gas, pepper balls, and rubber bullets. ICE agents have also started conducting overnight raids in apartment buildings. President Trump says this is part of his crackdown on crime, calling Chicago the world's most dangerous city. The president increasing these efforts over the weekend. He authorized hundreds of National Guard members to be sent to Chicago to protect federal officers and assets. Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth spoke about this order on CBS's Face the Nation.
I spoke with our governor yesterday, and it looks like it's going to be about 300 Illinois Guardsmen who will be activated against the governor's wishes. It's a misuse of the National Guard. They're not needed in this particular role. If President Trump really wanted to fight crime, then maybe he should stop defunding the police. He diverted $800 million in crime prevention efforts away from that was appropriated away from funding for our police officers. So, they're not needed, but we're going to welcome them because they're our brothers and sisters, and we're proud of our National Guard.
The order came just hours after Border Patrol agents clashed with protesters and shot a woman they say was armed. Officials claim she and others rammed their cars into law enforcement vehicles, boxing in agents. No officers were seriously injured. The woman was released from the hospital yesterday afternoon.
And meantime, Medicaid cuts are having an effect here in the Bay Area. Santa Clara County can expect to lose about $1 billion over the next few years. County leaders are trying to narrow the gap with a ballot measure next month. Ben Ramirez has more.
If you just met Mia Jareggi today, you'd never guess the painful path she took to get here. She's now a county hospital social worker, helping others and serving the public with pride.
It's the best feeling in the world, Glenn. It really is. It's indescribable. I feel like I'm doing exactly what I was meant to do, like I'm fulfilling the purpose for my life.
But Mia's past life was full of hardship and survival. Born to drug-addicted parents, she says her childhood was filled with chaos and neglect.
Started experimenting when I was 15 years old, and from 15 to 35, I was full-blown active addiction.
One year while serving time, she earned her GED, but her self-destructive cycle continued. Then, facing prison, a judge gave her a choice, hard time or rehab, through a nonprofit that helps people get clean called Pathway Society.
The day that I went, I was using up into the moment that I was on my way to treatment, and once I got there, it was like a relief. I didn't have to fight anymore.
All right, just have a seat right here.
Pathways provides a structure that Ruben, a Pathways counselor, says is key for the thousands of people it serves. Daily check-ins, group therapy, life skills training. 21-year-old Sergio, who just checked into a downtown group home, says without it, his future was grim.
Either in jail or dead.
But health-related programs like Pathways could soon be wiped out by looming federal budget cuts. 98% of the program's funding comes from Medicaid and Medi-Cal, but it's not the only program in danger. Santa Clara County, which administers and fills in funding gaps, is projecting cuts of more than $1 billion to programs like Pathways, plus its 4 public hospitals and 15 health clinics.
It is catastrophic on every front. From the number of layoffs that have to be made, the service lines that will have to be cut back. The residents, the patients of this home behind me will be on the streets.
To address the shortfall, the Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to support Measure A on the November ballot, which would raise the sales tax by 5/8 of a cent for 5 years. It's expected to bring $330 million a year to help pay for public health.
Vote no on Measure A.
But Measure A faces a vocal opposition from taxpayer groups led by people like Dan Stedging.
The timing's wrong for this tax. We've got record inflation and people can't put groceries on the table and gas in the car.
Supervisor Betty Young says there is no other way to keep the doors open for programs like they were when Mia went through.
I know the cost of living is challenging for many people, and that's why we structured the sales tax measure the way we did. Temporary, 5 years, 5/8 of a penny, and essential items are exempt from the sales tax measure increase.
After completing her own recovery, Mia got a job with Pathways, helping people like herself. Then came a bachelor's degree and later a master's in social work.
I actually was able to walk across the stage and get my master's degree and get hooded on my 13-year clean recovery milestone.
Mia seized the opportunity to get help, to get clean, and turn her life around. But now, with the future of rehab riding on the ballot box, she worries that people in the same position she was in may never get the chance.
Well, coming up, it's not just San Francisco cracking down on speeding. Inside the South Bay's latest efforts to increase safety in the streets next. Drivers in San Jose could soon get a warning in the mail if they're caught speeding. The city just installed a handful of red light cameras set to go online soon at notoriously dangerous intersections. Red light cameras are being installed in what city officials are calling 4 of the most hazardous locations in San Jose. Michael Sortos lives in the South Bay and can't wait to see how the technology will impact traffic safety.
I think it's a great thing for our safety, and it will hopefully help people be more aware of the lights that they're approaching.
Sortos says he has seen drivers have blatant disregard for the law.
I've witnessed people like straight up go through a red light when it's not their turn. Like, it's not like the light's not changing from yellow to red. It's like straight on. It's been red for a while and they just book it through.
He's also witnessed some of those drivers cause horrible crashes.
Especially in my neighborhood where I live, there's a very busy intersection, always people running red lights there, and I've even seen some people get hit by vehicles there as well.
Wednesday, city leaders made the announcement about their year-long pilot program at the intersection of Branham and Monterey Road. According to District 2 City Council member Pamela Campos, Monterey Road accounts for 4% of the city's deadly and serious injury crashes.
Behind me, we have one of the most dangerous roads in the city of San Jose, Monterey Road, which is sometimes called Blood Alley because it is notorious for claiming the lives of people in our city and our communities.
This year, San Jose has 26 traffic-related deaths, which is 34% lower than at the same time last year. But Mayor Matt Mahan says one life is too many, especially when the crashes could have been prevented. On Monterey Road, there have been 58 deaths on the corridor since 2020.
These cameras have proven themselves. In Chicago, they led to a 52% reduction in crashes. If we had implemented this technology here back in 2020, we might have prevented 30 of those deaths or serious injuries.
The cameras will go online this month, and drivers will get a warning for the first 2 months. Starting December 12th, citations will be issued. Sortos hopes the cameras will make a difference as he continues to use safe driving habits behind the wheel.
I'm driving, my life's in my own hands. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing and what's going on around me.
And coming up, despite trying times, Mexican folk dancing is being kept alive in San Jose, and we'll take a peek into the culture. But first, we need a peek at the forecast.
Well, it's been a gorgeous day out there, plenty of sunshine all across California, and it's actually only going to get hotter by tomorrow. I'll let you know how hot it's going to get where and when coming up in my full forecast.
For almost 60 years, Los Lupeños has been a cultural staple in San Jose.
Based at the Mexican Heritage Plaza in the East Side, the nonprofit Dance Academy has brought generations together through Mexican folk dancing.
But as deportation efforts continue, there is now a revitalized effort to preserve Hispanic heritage. Kevin Coe has more.
It's Samuel Cortez's 10th year as the artistic director for Los Lupeños de San Jose.
What we do, it's very known as folklorico, as I call it Mexican folk dance, and it's the right crosspath between visual arts and cultural activity.
Year-round, Cortez and his assistant director, Steven, hold practices at the Mexican Heritage Plaza in East San Jose.
These dancers prepare themselves for months and months.
Embracing these traditions today, feels heavier for many, like 23-year-old Karina Castro.
We try not to mention that stuff in the dance room, but it's a huge elephant in the room, but we all know what's going on. Everyone's on social media. But I use that as motivation to stay here and do it for even longer and inspire others to do the same.
As a Mexican-American, Karina always used folklorico to embrace and preserve her heritage. Now, it's about protecting it.
Doing this feels a lot more different now. It actually empowers me to continue to do it because we don't want to give them what they want. They don't want us, but we're here to stay because we've been here for such a long time.
For 20-year-old Angelica, who's been coming here since she was 10, being part of Los Lupeños feels more vital than ever.
It's the one place that really connects me to my culture. It keeps me grounded into my roots of my Mexican heritage, and I think that's why I continue to do it for so long. Right now, I think it's a pivotal time in history to represent the Mexican culture, to break those stereotypes that are in the community right now.
There's also the stereotypes being broken here every day.
During the day, I'm a chemical engineer, and then I come here in the evenings and I teach classes. They're always really shocked to learn that side of me.
Steven started dancing as a Stanford student to reconnect with his Mexican heritage. He never thought he'd be here 10 years later, alongside Cortez, carrying on San Jose's Hispanic legacy.
This year, the Hispanic Heritage Month is particularly special because I feel more than ever that it's necessary to get close to the ones that are here, that are looking for space, that are looking to feel safe, that are looking to feel part of something. We are here standing, we're still fighting, we're still trying to support each other and making sure that our community feels safe, empowered, and proud of who they are.
Well, I hope you all had a wonderful Sunday. I like to call it a Sunday fun day because it was so gorgeous out there. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures warming up, and they're only going to get warmer into tomorrow as a huge area of high pressure builds across the entirety of the west coast of the United States. Plenty of sunshine, quiet and calm conditions, just a little bit of fog filtering in across the coast. But really, that fog is not going to be an issue overnight tonight as offshore winds are going to be developing. Offshore winds, as many of you know, bring in drier and warmer weather, and that's exactly what we're expecting all the way through Tuesday. By Wednesday, though, you'll notice an area of low pressure or a storm system developing, swirling, strengthening through Thursday and Friday. And then Friday night, there is the slight potential of a little bit of rain heading our way. Models are still very, very widely scattered on whether or not we're actually going to see any precipitation. Some models have absolutely nothing. Some models have over an inch across our North Bay. It's something we'll keep a very close eye on because you notice the timing. This is just at the start of Fleet Week. So again, we will keep you all updated. Hopefully our models can pinpoint whether or not we'll actually see that rain next week. What we are going to be seeing tonight, though, is offshore winds developing. And like I said, offshore winds bring in drier and warmer weather. And the strongest of the offshore winds are going to be across our North Bay communities, where we are expecting North Bay communities to see those dry conditions and those wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 40 miles an hour on top of the highest elevations. But you notice farther south, Sonoma, Napa, those winds are only going to be about 10 miles an hour. So it really is only the highest elevations that the winds are going to be a concern tonight. And because of all the rain that we saw last week, honestly, our fire danger, it could be a lot worse for this time of year. So it's definitely not as high, but it's something we'll keep a close eye on. Those winds are going to switch around late tomorrow afternoon, but throughout Monday, with plenty of sunshine, barely a cloud in the sky, those high temperatures are going to be sitting above average for most of the Bay Area. Inland communities sitting in the mid to upper 80s and down into the Santa Clara Valley, even mid 80s for areas by the Bay and across our North Bay. Look at the coast, too. Mid to upper 70s from Pacifica down to Half Moon Bay. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. And maybe if you're lucky enough to have the day off and you want to go down to Santa Cruz, Monterey, mid 70s for this time of year, that is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Don't get used to it, though, because if you did live down near Monterey and Salinas, they're going to be seeing a lot of fog arriving late Monday and into Tuesday. The fog isn't going to be nearly as widespread across the Bay Area, maybe a little bit of a finger of it in the Oakland and inland communities. But other than that, it's going to be cooling down those temperatures on Tuesday afternoon. You're going to be seeing those highs a few degrees cooler Tuesday. But that big cool down isn't going to arrive until Wednesday. So let's take a look at that 7-day forecast and kind of show you exactly what you can expect over the next several days. A bit of a roller coaster is on the way. We'll be warming up and up all the way through Tuesday before big cool down heads our way Wednesday. About a 10 to 15 degree temperature drop by Wednesday afternoon, and it's going to stay below average through the end of the week. And like I said, the very slight potential for maybe an isolated shower late Friday and into early Saturday, but I did not put that on my 7-day forecast because it's still very, very uncertain at this point. What we do know for sure is the warm weather will stick around through Tuesday before stronger winds and a bit of a cool down arrives by the later parts of the week. Back to you, Ryan.
All righty, Zoe, up next. Time may wait for no man, but one legendary clock had to wait 80 years for a makeover. That's next.